Hello, everybody, and this episode will sort of be like a podcast because I don't really know what else to do with this. Here is kind of a long match, and the audio cut out around the 14-minute mark, so I'll add some music in there so it doesn't sound so dull. But basically, it'll sort of be like a podcast, but with something to actually look at. I also already recorded a minute or so in. As you can see, there was like probably 65 people whenever you started about. And yeah, so this is basically my team's crap match. Everyone's spread out. Came to these other guys, my other teammates, and they died before I got to them. So I just decided to do my own thing from then on. And the fourth guy, man, why can't people come up with a better name? I mean, quite honestly, I don't know. I just don't like how people name themselves so many weird, stupid-ass names. Oh yeah, I remember this moment here. I'm also pre-recording not pre-recording, but like, I'm recording the audio now, so it will be like I'm watching it as I'm recording the audio. And this moment was pretty funny because this dumbass came to me, and you'll see what happens to him here in a minute. And yeah, just about that. He gets shot. One of my favorite weapons recently has been the Scar because I didn't really realize it at the time until later on that the Scar is one of the best weapons in the game. Some people say the Mini is actually pretty good, but I like to disagree with that because I don't personally prefer 5mm for a sniper. At the best, I do 7 for the SKS or so. Something along them lines. They're actually hard to find parts for, which is why I've been switching over to the Scar. And I decided to go with the pistol this match because why not? Found the parts for it, found the pistol, why not? I mean, you don't really need a shotgun in this game. Unlike, for instance, Rules of Survival. You need, shotguns, they're not necessarily a necessity in any of the games, but if you're in a small area where there's corners all over the place, like you're in a town, or, like in Rules of Survival, you'd be in Rust Bay, or here, I don't know what it's called, because this map's Russian, but, like, if you're there, or in Miramar, then you would be in, Los something, I can't remember, it's Mexican. Anyways, if you were in one of the big cities, for example, you would need a shotgun more, but, like, it's not a necessity or a deal breaker, because, like, with an SMG, it would be better, or, for instance, in this game, it would be a 5mm rifle, because they shoot really fast. Sort of like an SMG, but a little more effective because the SMGs here use 9mm. I heard people talking in a match the other day that 9mm doesn't really do a whole lot. I was actually using the UMP for a while, and it was working pretty well overall, but I decided to switch over to the Scar whenever I could, and it seems to be the best weapon so far. It's got a 40 capacity, just like the UMP, but they use different ammo. I do agree that 5mm does seem to do a little bit more damage, but if you don't have the Scar, then it can be pretty difficult to actually use it like an SMG, which is why everyone likes the Scar, because it can shoot long range. You can switch it to a single shot and get people from a distance, versus the UMP, which is pretty limited on distance. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage at the distance unless you get a few headshots in, which is pretty difficult actually. Unless you use a sniper, it's really hard to get good headshots off. With the car, for example, you can one-shot them, and I don't like the car because of how slow reloading, just like the AWM. But sometimes, if you can get the headshots, then it'll be worth it, and you have the ammo, because the AWM uses AWM ammo or something like that. I don't really remember because I don't play with it that much. I mainly use what I mentioned before. And also, I'm just trying to meet up with my teammate here, just going down the road. In hindsight, I probably should have skipped that whole turn, but I just felt like it. whenever I get so far geared, like if I get like at least a level 2 backpack and like my idealish weapon, like I think I have an M14 here, but it's not really that good overall, but I make it work whenever I can. And so that's why I just decided why not meet up with them. And whenever I have jerks of teammates, I will kill them. If they go AFK, I will kill them. I want their stuff if they're not going to play. And if they're jerks, the other day, I actually was in a match, and this one guy was being a complete jerk to one of the other teammates. He's like telling him to shut up and turn off his mic because his mic was really loud with unnecessary noises. And I hate it when people do that too. It is really annoying. You can't hear everybody. And that's why some people prefer solos, is because people are just idiots. They have their mics on and they won't shut up. And that's a real problem sometimes, especially for the people who don't care what they hear. They'll just leave their mics on all the time. Typically I'll turn off my sound because the commands in PUBG are like really loud and bossy and annoying as hell. So I'll just turn them off and say shut the hell up. And it's so much easier because then you don't have the whole problem of people constantly spamming the chat. I kill them people too, they're annoying. And so whenever I kill a teammate, I figure I've gotten reported a few times. Or not unfortunately, but fortunately I haven't been banned yet. And I mean, I don't know if they do that or not in PUBG. I know they do in Rules of Survival and I think Fortnite, but I don't play that crap game. And so it's really more of like, you know, people taking advantage of you, being jerks and things like that. Or if they, I had one game where this guy, he popped my tire and then laughed about it, and then I killed the entire team because they were all together, like friends in real life or something like that. And I just killed them all. I ran over them all and decided, fine, I'll play by myself. And I've done that several times actually. And it really makes no difference because one round I killed my entire team and still got second place. And I mean, it was pretty easy too. I got like over 10 kills. And I mean, teams, if you're doing a solo in a team match, it's really not a deal breaker because of that. If you have the, if you're a solo person and you like solos better and you don't like teammates, if they're a team that are trying to actually work together and stuff and do some good, then just tell them that you want to be left alone. And if they're understanding, they'll leave you. But if they're like, fine, screw you, and try to kill you and stuff, that's when you can kill them too. But typically it is I get jerks for teammates, so I'm like, fine, screw you, I'm gonna kill you, and I do it without telling them. That's another thing. You don't want to tell them, otherwise they'll try to kill you. I've actually died once because he had like way more bombs and Molotov cocktails, and that really makes a difference whenever you're trying to kill your teammates, because you can't friendly fire, unfortunately. But you know, sometimes that comes in handy. And anyways, this guy that I had, I didn't particularly like him. He went off into the distance. I mean, we all went our own separate ways, basically, except for the two guys who died together in the middle city, Pochnik or whatever. And so I just decided to do my own thing, because in that city, there's like a whole lot of people, and unless you have an organized team, then that's when you don't want to go there. If you have really unorganized team who are forcing you to go somewhere where there's a lot of people, I'll just sit there and ignore them, and hopefully all the organized teams get killed off by other people who are actually decent on their own, or full team versus them or whatever. One round I actually had where I came up to this couple of people. I thought there was only two of them, and on the other side fighting another couple of people, and apparently it wasn't. It was a full team, and then there was another half team behind us, and then one in front of us, and then another one off to the left or whatever. I mean, they were just surrounded, and we died. There's 2 or 3 of us. But I got a few kills off, or I either got a kill off or knocked 2 people down, something like that. Overall, I didn't do too bad compared to my teammates who just sat there and died. They did try to help me, but they weren't very good. If you get surrounded like that, you're kind of screwed. You're not going to have much to do. But yeah, here in about 4 minutes, the audio is going to cut out in the game, so it'll be a soundtrack. I mentioned that before, but I want to bring it up again because Apple it's a glitch because I recorded this on my Apple and I'm editing it on my Android, and the Apple has a glitch in that for some reason. I don't know why. I was running on the 11.3 or something like that iOS, and now I'm on 11.4. I haven't had that problem yet, and I think I've recorded 2 matches since then, but they weren't very long, and I don't think I got any notifications during it, so that was my expectation, that the notifications actually are part of the problem. But we'll see. It probably will consist, though, because I didn't see anything in the change logs for it, so I doubt it'll, happen. But anyways, yeah, this is where my teammate really did not come in handy. I was just cruising through town trying to pick him up because I wanted to get away from the border. The border is about to close in on us in a minute and give us no room to go. And yeah, see, we're over 700 meters away, and he decided to just sit there and loot or camp or whatever. I mean, I didn't hear anyone around, so I don't know what his problem was, but I just decided to leave him. He has a truck of his own, and that will be his demise, actually, because he got left behind far away from me, and because he didn't come with me. And sometimes that happens with teammates. They'll be idiots and sit there and not come with you, or be stupid like that and camp somewhere. And I mean, them are just the people who are idiots. I mean, if you see someone, you should at least say something, but they don't typically say anything. The majority of the matches are actually rather quiet. Excuse me. Overall, as typically people don't have their mics on, they're not talking to anybody, but sometimes if you're in a team match like this, not a duo, but like something like this, where there's 4 people, you'll get 2 or 3 people who are friends in real life or something occasionally, and they will be talking to each other through the mics and stuff, talking about school and stuff. It's a little annoying, but they work together fairly well most of the time. But other times there's suicide squads. They'll go into the towns like Pochnik, or I'm not for sure, but how that's exactly pronounced. It's Russian, like I mentioned before, but I think it's Pochnik or something like that. But I'm probably butchering it, but I'm not Russian. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah. And they'll go into them towns like that one, and they'll just get surrounded on the corners, because that town is half of it's up on a hill, half of it's down below. Well, actually, the majority of it's down below, but there's still places for people to snipe from. There's also a church down the road, and they'll snipe from there. And then they'll get slaughtered and pinned from several sides. And I've had that happen several times. It's quite annoying, but it does happen. And yeah, that bunker next to me right there, I didn't know that existed for the longest time. I thought, when I first saw it, I'm like, what the heck? None of these shooter games have any underground bunkers like that. And it really surprised me, and I just started exploring. Actually, one round I only did this once. I went to the shelter on purpose to find gear, and I wound up getting hordes of people coming around me. I wound up killing them, but they almost got me. One of them came up and fisted me, and I was reloading or moving a scope or something like that, and they almost got me, and it surprised me. But I mean, it can be pretty hard to get gear down there. I was fortunate enough to get to the bunker. Well, there's several rooms in the bunker. I got to one room before they did, and they weren't geared, so I was lucky in that aspect. But they could have gotten something and threw it at me. And here, my teammate, he kind of oh, I'll catch up now. The border's coming, and then I'm sitting there trying to figure out if there's someone in that house, because I saw gunshots on the radar, and he also yelled for help. It's kind of annoying, and he's, by the point you see his health drop below his number, and he's dead. and there's someone there. So I decided to do my whole stop and get out strategy in the car. And at this point, I really thought I was screwed because I had like almost no health left. But this is where the SCAR comes in handy, sort of like a SMG. And I'm like, I'm gonna kill this guy before the other guy gets me. I'm at least gonna take one down. And I do not want to die from my teammate. He's a jerk. You should have came with me earlier. But no. And here I just get a couple of shots off right there. And he disappears. I don't really remember the name of that guy, even now, just watching this. But there's a lot of loot here. So I get geared up even more. And, I mean, as long as you have... If you're going to use the SCAR, like an SMG, for example... Yeah, there's also a sniper fixed on me. He almost got me too. But I still don't know where that guy was, but, you know, I'll find him later. Anyways, if you're using the SCAR like an SMG, you're going to want around 150 to 250 ammo, depending on how you keep, like, your ammo stocks. I like to keep pretty stocked. Even the pistol was a little overkill, but them little suggested marks, I want to get rid of them. And see, that sniper's just relentless. I don't fight what I can't see. If call me a runner or anything like that, but I do not like fighting people who are just going to sit there and hide. I'm not going to play the cat and mouse thing. And if they want me, they can come and get me. And then that point, I'll put it in my favor. And it's also another good reason to actually bring a car with you, because cars are natural rams. And yeah, here's another bunker. Also, I mean, this is a huge area, and I didn't know existed for at least 20, 30 matches in. I didn't find it, and it took me another 5 just to find it. I'm like, wait, I found it on the map. I'm like, oh, there's a shelter. So who knew that existed? And, oh, that's also another thing. With pistols and Uzis, anything lighter than that, they do not trigger footstep sounds, or as far as to my knowledge, I haven't tested it with my own other device that can run the game, and I should really test that sometime though. And whenever you're holding it and you're crouched, you won't trigger the footsteps, you won't trigger the sounds or anything. That's also a good reason to carry it if you're sneaking up on someone, but you gotta switch fast if you're about ready to get in contact with someone, and then at that point you just want to stay crouched because that's the only thing you can really do. And that's what I was sort of doing down here, is in case there was anyone above. That's a bad thing about this shelter, is if you're below, then you won't know for sure if there's anyone above or how far away they are, because footsteps can be triggered from quite a distance. And so that almost got me in quite the pickle. But anyways, it is a pretty extensive cave system, or bunker system down there, and you'll be surprised at like how big it is. I mean, there's at least half a dozen chambers, 2 to 4 of them about as big as this one, but I have to get out of here fast because the border came up on me. I'm like, man, screw the pistol, I just need to get my SCAR and get out of here, heal up and stuff. Again, still using the vehicle is pretty simple mode of transportation, and also a ram, so you can use that as a weapon. I don't see why people don't use cars more often. Some people use them as pure weapons in games. I mean, using it as a pure weapon the whole time is a little annoying, but I at least get out and try to shoot people because it's my best chance. You get them off by surprise, they'll think you're going behind most of the time. But typically I try to stop, because in PUBG it does quite an amount of damage on you. In games like Rules of Survival, it only does a slight amount of damage versus the vehicles in PUBG, where you can take up to a quarter of your health just by falling off. Sometimes if you're going full speed down a mountain, for example, I've had this actually happen. And I will actually die by dropping off of a vehicle while it's going down a hill, or while someone's got the boost on or something like that. I mean, even before the boost came out, you could still die pretty easy by doing that. And it kind of sucks, but, you know, different game, different mechanics. And I was actually surprised while editing this that this is a 25-minute match. It's technically like 27, 30, something like that, because I didn't record for a little bit. I mean, I didn't get any kills or anything, so it wasn't really interesting. But it actually took like, it takes like almost 10 minutes for the final 20. It's a little annoying overall. I mean, I like the game and everything, but there's still quite a few quirks that it needs to figure out. Stay, as long as you have a vehicle, you should be able to stay out of the border. And you see the people off to the right back there a minute ago, and I'm circling around to try and find them, and I actually lost track of them. I circled them a few times, and then I finally find them, and they killed a guy right in front of them, so here they are. Bad mistake on their part, because they stayed together, and that is the demise of them. That was probably the biggest kill in this match, I think, unless that's the last one, but I really should have switched my armor here. It's pretty bad. My armor's almost broken. I hate looting. It takes forever. Sometimes it's annoying, but I mean, it's also a surprise. It's like opening a little surprise crate every time someone dies. So hopefully we can get through here without the sniper getting us, because this is the same area that the sniper almost got me several times. And I was actually surprised when I saw that silver masquerade mask. I'm like, might as well get it. Not like it does anything anyways, but that's also another thing. I find my bag in PUBG gets fuller than it does in other games that are similar to it. And, oh yeah, that's also another thing. We're going to talk about the suing of Fortnite. PUBG sued Fortnite for copyright infringement over the similarity of the games. Don't mind me mindlessly checking the same loot crate. PUBG Corporation sued Fortnite for copyright infringement, saying it's too similar to their game that they should get some compensation for it, or they should be put out of business, things like that. And honestly, I can see some grounds for that, but overall, Fortnite does have a different aspect to it. It's a little faster paced, I think, but in some ways not. It's also more geared for kids versus this, which is more of a retro kind of design, in my opinion. I'm not sure where PUBG exactly originated from, but if the Russian name on Orangle says anything, it's probably a Russian game, but surprise, surprise! This guy had no idea that he would get screwed. See, I'm pretty sure he was using a shotgun, which is why he died. But anyways, with the whole infringement thing, like I said, I see some ground in it, but overall I don't. I mean, there's some aspects to it which are true. I don't know how long the PC game's been out. Whichever one's been out longer, though, I would say has the rights to sue the other, but with the different gaming aspects, I really don't like Fortnite. It is a terrible game in my opinion, and why, you may ask, is because of how clumsy the controls are on the mobile, and the gameplay. I mean, there's no scopes. I mean, there's hardly any scopes, and it makes it really difficult to fight from across the map. And if someone else has a scope on a sniper, then you're screwed. It's a pretty terrible game in my opinion, but, you know, apparently a lot of people like it, and apparently the stereotype of it is that a lot of 12-year-olds play it. And I have observed that as well. It is quite annoying when you have the chat on. But anyways, about to wrap up this match here in a couple minutes, and you'll see why it takes so long. Here I'm going to try and distract the guy into thinking that I'm over there, although I don't know if that really worked, to be honest, because there was someone else over there, because you saw the explosion a minute ago. And this guy, I'm surprised he didn't kill me. And I say that before I kill him. Oops. Oh well, that's the problem with re-recording your audio after the match is done. But I figured I'd do something like this because I haven't done it yet, and it was an interesting match to say the least. And I don't know, I just felt like changing it up a little bit. Also, I think I'm gonna name this the 7 titles match, because I got 7 titles in this match. I'm not gonna tell you if I won yet, because I'm just about to do something here. using all them grenades that I've accumulated. That, I'm not sure how rare 7 titles is, but tell me if it is rare, because I want to know. I've never had that happen. It was 6 before, and that was my highest. But we'll see here in a minute what I get, and see if this guy can kill me or not. What do you think? Catching him off, surprise him with a vector, he's screwed. So, yeah, see, 7 medals. I thought they were titles. Whoops. So yeah, I got Terminator, MVP, of course. I got 2 Terminators, and that is the match. See you, everybody. Thanks for watching.